ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Sage Nodha continues his Agni Sukta in the next two. In the first one, Suktam 59, he mainly talks about Vaishwanaragni in Drushtub Chanda. Today we will be analyzing two Agni Suktas and two Indra Suktas 61 and 62 from Sage Nodha. 1.59.1 Vaya Ilagne. O universal energy, leader of all men, Agni, all immortal souls delight in you. You are the origin of energy of all living creatures. All Agnis are your branches only and not different from you. You support all human beings like a pillar in a house. The Srak more or less define who Vaishwanara is. As such, it should be self-explanatory. 1.59.2 Murdhadivo. O universal energy Agni, you are superior to the space and earth. You become their origin and lord of the space and earth. You only are the giver of light of knowledge to righteous persons. Enlightened and wise men generated you. Vaishwanara is the brainchild of enlightened sages. All forms of basic matter except Agni are inert. Agni, fire, is a branch of Vaishwanara, who is the origin of all forms of energy. Asurya Rashmayo 1.59.3 is the next track. O universal energy Agni, you are the sovereign ruler of the universe. All branches that are there in the mountains, all objects that are there in the mountains, among the herbs, in the waters, and all wealth of human beings, all of them are established in you like the permanent light rays in the sun. As supplier of all forms of energy, Vaishwanara lords over all other inner forms of matter. He is behind generation of all wealth by human beings. Drihati Iva Sunave 1.59.4 like a venerable mother upholds her son, or as a dexterous man makes use of the space and the earth, a thoughtful sacrificer renders the great Vedic hymns for this Vaishwanaragni, who is a swift mover, is the possessor of true strength and is the best leader among men. No comments on this necessary. 1.59.5 Divaschitte Brihato. O omnipresent universal energy Agni, your glory surpasses the great light of the sun and of the stars. You are the ruler of all human beings and other beings imagined by thoughtful persons. You effect wealth for enlightened beings to fight their battle against evil forces. Light of the sun and the stars is purely gross or physical. Vaishwanara is universal energy personified, which means that he is the soul of all forms of energy. This knowledge he imparts to men who are shining with knowledge to fight their battles against their internal enemies. Next, look 1.59.6. Pranu Mahitvam. I extol the greatness of that shower of happiness, whom righteous men worship, that Vaishwanara destroys the infidels like lightning smites down the cloud, and making people on all directions tremble in fear. 1.59.7. Vaishwanaro Mahimna. Vaishwanara, who is the creator of all men, is most worship-worthy. He is illuminator and a good leader of all. By his greatness, he is present on the earth and in other worlds, which upholds many beings that are to be known and consisting of hundreds of objects. He is to be adorned by many worshipful hymns. This sukta is over. Next sukta we will go to. This is another Agni Suktam from sage Gautama Nodha in Trishtup Chanda. 1.60.1. Vahnim Yashasam air in combination with fuel or firewood procures the fire for the fire worshipper. This Agni is a symbol of sacrifice and bearer of oblations, is quite well known, is well protected. He goes as a messenger. He is a good gift, he is like a famous wealth, and is auspicious giver of immediate happiness. Agni manifesting as fire is being described in these works. 1.60.2. Asya Shasurubhaya Sa. Oblations carrying sacrificers desiring to perform sacrifices, as well as ordinary mortals, adore him, Gras Agni, whose orders they are attached to inexorably. That Agni is the acceptor of oblations, is worthy of being consulted, is highly intelligent, and as is the protector of all subjects. He is placed among the people before the sun appears in the sky. Performers of sacrifices adore Agni as sacrificial fire. Ordinary men see Agni as a source of energy to be used for material benefits. Tam Vyasi Hrida 1.60.3. Whom thoughtful performers of sacrifice, endowed with knowledge and their emotions under control, performing sacrifices in the path of righteousness, beget with loving hearts. May our new worshipful hymns of praise reach that manifested sweet-tongued Gras Agni. 1.60.4. Ushipavako. Shining Gras Agni is desirer of sacrifices, is a purifier, is provider of homes to all, worship-worthy, is self-controlled, is protector of the house, is lord of all wealth, and also acceptor of oblations in his sacrificial place. He, heat energy in this case, is established or present in the bodies of all human beings. The rug contains some qualities attributed to sacrificial fire. Last sentence is about Jఠragni or Vaishwanaragni. 1.60.5 Tam Tvavayam, O source of intelligence, soul of Agni, may you come to us quickly every morning. Great admirers of Vedic teachings, we, along with other wise men, praise you, who is the Lord of all riches and is performer all good deeds, procurer of strength, like a rider cleans his speedy horse daily. Next, sage Gautamanatha's Indrastuti starts off with the Suktam 61 Chandasigen Drushto Asma Idu Pra Tavase 1.61.1 I offer worship in the form of hymns and other offerings to Indra, who is strong and quick, is the destroyer of enemies, is inspirer and follower of Vedas, is irresistible and is great, like nourishing food offered by sacrificers in the olden days. As the seer of the Sukta is performing a knowledge sacrifice, he is offering to Indra this hymn and not a grass oblation offered by ancient invokers. 1.61.2 Asma Idu Prayaiva, O learned man, as you procure nourishing food and wealth to the old and experienced Lord Indra, in the same way, I also prepare a good hymn or vehicle for him who is fit enough to fight with his enemies. All learned people honor that Indra, preparing Vedic praises with their heart and soul. Like all learned men, the seer is also preparing this hymn with his heart and mind, with which Indra can fight his enemies, the infidels. Asma Idu Stavam 1.61.3 Asma Idu. With my mouth I offer aloud worship with powerful and pure words of praise for enhancing his glory to that Indra, who is the best of all, is a giver of happiness, is the greatest and is the knower of the Vedas. Superficial meaning of these works should be easily understood. 1.61.4 Asma Idustomam Sam. I prepare auspicious hymns for that Indra who is knowledgeable, and to him invocations are addressed, like a carpenter constructs a chariot for proper use. To those words of praise too pervade the whole universe, prompting people to renounce all evils. 1.61.5 Asma Idu Saptimiva. I, desiring glory and valor, combine praises with sacrificial oblations in order to glorify that Indra only, like a man harnessing his horse for gaining food. He is a hero, he is a giver of dwellings to all, his praise one likes to hear, he is a destroyer of citadels of enemies. 1.61.6 Asma idu Tvashta. Tvashta, the creator, prepared Vajra for him. Which is most skillful and is resounding. Knowing the most vulnerable part of Rutra, the cloud, Lord Indra, sustainer of many, pierced that part of Rutra only with the destructive weapon, the thunderbolt. 1.61.7 In his sacrificial sessions, that great measurer quickly drinks the sweet soma essence and enjoys well-cooked food. That destroyer of enemies, valorous thrower of Vajra, Indra, like the all-pervading Vishnu or the sun with his rays, pierces the mountain-like cloud, making it fall down. The sacrifice here implies sacrifice of creation of the universe. Indra makes use of the flowing essence of Atma, Soma, for this purpose. With the spiritual Vajra, Indra destroys ignorance cloud and reveals self-knowledge. 1.61.8 Next Sukta. Asma idu. Noble speeches protected by enlightened sages present the good praises for Indra. His greatness in killing the cloud cannot be surpassed by the extensive space and earth he controls with his own valor. This can be interpreted in the physical sense or in the spiritual sense as indicated in 1.61.7. Asileva Praririte. 1.61.9. Only with Indra's greatness exceeds that of the space of the atmosphere and of the earth, that Indra is shining with his splendor in his own dwelling, he is engaged with worthy foes, he is welcome to all, and is endowed with knowledge. He is strong in battle against his enemies. Being universal manifested self, Indra's greatness surpasses the greatness of all manifested objects. Indra is revealer of self-knowledge. 1.61.10 Indra, with his mind set on sacrificers for helping them, with his own strength cut into pieces the cloud. With the thunderbolt, which was drying up the earth, thereby releasing water particles which were withheld in the cloud. Like cows released by the cow herd, causing the water streams to flow down to earth, giving food to sacrifices. Water is absolutely necessary for the production of food by plants. 1.61.11 Asyedu to Yashasa, who with his own power destroys the water-carrying cloud with the brilliant lightning, namely Vajra, that overpowering Lord of the universe, Indra, establishes the water streams in their appropriate places on the earth, giving safe staying place to his sincerely striving devotee and also happiness. This seems to be quite self-explanatory. 1.61.12 Asma idu prabhara. O Indra, you are ever eager for a righteous battle. You are Lord of the universe and sustainer of many. You propel Vajra for killing Rutra, the cloud, with the superior weapon, lightning. You cut the cloud into pieces like a butcher cuts the cow's limbs into pieces, imparting strength to the waters to flow down. Indra sustains all creatures by bestowing existence and consciousness on them. Spiritual meaning of the Rik can be easily derived. .61.13, that is the next Rik. Asyedu Prabhuhi, O praisers, sing the glory with new Vedic hymns for Indra. He goes to face unrighteous enemies in battle, discharging powerful weapons against them and destroying them. About the valorous deeds done earlier by him, he is always eager to face his enemies. This seer of the Sukta is encouraging his friends to prepare new hymns in praise of Jivatma Indra. 1.61.14 Asyedu Bhiya. Because of fear of Indra's power, the mountains remain stationary. In his presence, the space and earth tremble. By extolling that Indra through worshipful hymns repeatedly 9 times, his valor increases then itself for our protection. The second half of the Rik is pure imagination. Indra's glory is always the same. It cannot increase or decrease by the repetition of these hymns in principle. 1.61.5 Asma idu tyadanu. Indra alone is the Lord of all this wealth. What he desires, he protects. He protects that variegated, colorful spiritual light of knowledge, which compares with the multi-7-colored light of the sun. In praise of him only, the hymns of the praisers are sung. Indra is the master of the manifested universe. He is the protector of spiritual light, Atma, knowledge, which is much superior to physical light. Last work in this sutta. Evate Hariyojana. O harnesser of horses or spiritual light race, Indra, admirers of Vedas are preparing auspicious worshipful Vedic hymns for you. May you, rich in intelligence, come here quickly every morning and give these people wealth containing all adornments and also knowledge. Indra harnesses spiritual rays carried by drops of Soma for creating this universe. No further clarification may be necessary on this work. We go to the last Indra Suktam for today. It is again by Sage Nodha, Suktam 62 in Trushtub Chanda. 1.62.1 Pramanmahe. We think upon a forceful hymn which is like the force of pranas for Indra, who is very powerful and is fond of praise, and adore him who is glorified by all with auspicious worshipful hymns. We sing the praises of him who is worship-worthy and is a very famous leader of men. (1.62.2) Seer of Sukta and his friends are to prepare a new Suktam for Indra to honor him by singing it. Indra could be Adhidevic or Adhyatmic. Pravo Mahe Mahi Namo 1.62.2 O learned praisers, like our ancient ancestors who were knowers of the science of breath and fire and are knowers of the abode, by the worship of whom acquired the speeches. In the same way, you also prepare and sing loudly worshipful Sama hymns for the great and powerful Indra. Wise sages of ancient times possessed objective knowledge about nature and also self-knowledge. Invoking Indra, they procured or prepared Vedic hymns in praise of him. Rest of the Rig needs no explanation. 1.62.3 Indrasya Angirasam. Like a loving mother desirous of making her son strong, gives him good food, or like master of Vedic knowledge Brihaspati dispels the cloud of ignorance with rays of spiritual knowledge. Leaders of men who are friends of Indra and knowers of science of breath and fire sing songs loudly in praise of Indra. This must be easy enough to understand. 1.62.4 Sa Sushtubha. Mighty Indra was being praised excellently with Vedic hymns containing rigs in 7 Chandasas by persons well versed in Vedas. They were performing knowledge sacrifice for more than 9 or 10 months. For them, he broke upon the dark caverns of mountain-like cloud. He is definitely worship-worthy. In a knowledge sacrifice which was being performed by ancient wise sages and which was going on for 9 or 10 months, Indra, universal Jivatma, revealed self-knowledge, which is oneness of the self, destroying the ignorance, unreality of Jivatma, or unreality of the manifested gross light of Usha and the sun. Grinano Grinano Angirobhi 1.62.5. Praised by knowers of science of breath and fire, Indra, accomplisher of many deeds, dispels darkness of ignorance with the light of dawn and the sun. He established the sun in the physical space above the clouds and the atmosphere. 1.62.7. Tadu Prayakshatamam. With reference to the earth, the four flowing systems were established, causing sweet water to flow full along circuitous courses below on the earth. This act of the accomplisher of many wonderful deeds, Indra, is indeed wonderful, extremely charming and praiseworthy. Four flowing streams may imply the four worlds, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Maha. 1.62.7. Dvita Vivavre. Indra, accomplisher of noble deeds, is not attainable through actions or through worshipful hymns. He unveils the grass space and the earth, which are born from eternal matter, as two distinctly different forms of matter, like the sun. Universal Jivatma, Indra, can be attained by meditation only. Eternal matter is a symbol for the self, which is really non-matter. The physical space, earth and the sun, or energy, are three different forms of basic matter. 1.62.8 is the next work, Sanadivambari. From olden days, night and dawn having two different complexions, night having dark complexion and dawn with her bright body, and both always youthful, alternately visit the space and earth repeatedly. This is being attributed to Indra. Manifestation of time is attributed to Indra in this look. The sun and the earth together determine the space-time coordinate system for specifying the creation process in the universe. Sanemi Sakhyam 1.62.9. He, Indra, is skillful, is accomplisher of noble deeds, and like his brilliant son, the sun, keeping eternal friendship with all by giving them heat and light. He upholds with his strength sap in growing herbs and plants, and also white sweet milk in cows, irrespective of the color of their bodies. Sap stands for essence of life. Indra bestows existence and consciousness on living creatures, like the sun, giving them heat and light. 1.62.10 Sanat Sanila. Thousands of people living together in harmony on the earth observe their vows and discharge their bounden duties from time immemorial, and like good husbands protect their lands. In this way, they serve their creator Indra like sisters serve their bold brother. all actions done by all living creatures go to serve universal Jivatma Indra. The same idea is elaborated in the next track, which is 1.62.11. Sanayu Namasa, O mighty performer of wonderful deeds, praiseworthy Indra, wise and thoughtful man, desirous of gaining wealth and proper rewards, acting according to Ritham, proclaimed by the Vedas, approach you with worshipful hymns which attain you, like adorable young wives approach their loving husbands. 1.62.12 Sanadeva Tavarayo, O accomplisher of wonderful deeds, mighty helpful Indra, you are the illuminator of the world, engaged in doing noble deeds and is valorous. Riches held in your hands from ancient times suffer no loss or diminution. Please instruct us properly with your power of speech. Here, riches should imply self-knowledge, which only is really undecaying and imperishable. The last trick for the day, 1.62.3. Sanayate Gotama, O possessor of much strength Indra, an intelligent praiser, who is possessor of best speech, prepares new Vedic mantras for you. You are a harnesser of horses for spiritual race. You are very ancient and are a giver of good guidance. Endowed with much intelligence, may you come to us quickly every day morning. With this, we finish today's session. Viramastaval.